Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shah, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Dash. All praises, honor, glory, love, respect, faith, and power, and trust, and all credit to my Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and my Heavenly Big Brother, Yahweh Shah. Thank you so much for what you've done, what you're doing, and what you're going to do. Double honors to the apostles and elders and bishops of GMS, Great Millstone, who I learned from, and all the men scattered all over the world, teaching this truth and nothing but the truth in the name, spirit, and the power of Yahweh Bashim Shah. Trying to put a spiritual bug in you Hebrew Israelites' ears, you so-called blacks, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, and you speckled birds. And what is a speckled bird? That'd be a Hebrew Israelite that look like some of the heathen nations, like, for example, a Hebrew Israelite that look like a so-called white person or so-called Chinese person or Indian person. Anyway, I got some videos lined up about plagues going on all over the world, and then plus shortages, and plus the crisis with the diesel, gasoline, oil shortage, whatever. Pretty much it's the players of Yahweh Shema Shah. They're gonna kick a lot of people in the ass. And you want to pray like heaven, the Lord give you the toughness to endure. That's all. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna play these videos. I'm gonna get into the scripts my best ability, say whatever God say through spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah, the Holy Spirit, the Kurah Kodash. Lord willing be on me, let's get it.
Ebola infections are increasing rapidly and outpacing containment efforts. The WHO has recorded over 100 confirmed cases and 220 suspected deaths in Congo and Uganda since mid-May, and the outbreak now includes more than 900 suspected cases. In fact, in the latest, a baby died from Ebola at a hospital in the eastern Congolese town there after the child was born to a mother infected with the virus. The WHO chief has underlined how the epidemic in Congo is becoming extremely serious and difficult with every passing day. In a Congolese city, teams of health workers in full protective gear were seen conducting dignified and safe burials to reduce transmission at funerals. In fact, an Ebola outbreak was declared in Congo's Ituri province on the 15th of May, remember, with Bunia among the main areas affected. Apart from Congo, confirmed cases of Ebola infections have been reported in Uganda as well. In Uganda, one person has died with a further 6 confirmed infected. The country has even stepped up screening measures amid the rise in Ebola infections.
The crowding, the public transportation, which exposes us a lot. Yeah, so that makes me scared that I'm at high risk of contacting it because of the overcrowding.
It's not the first time it's happening. It's happened before. We've seen other cases like COVID come before. But personally, I trust the Ministry of Health. I trust the government because they are doing all it takes to ensure that Ebola is eradicated.
As infections spark an international health alert, Thailand has imposed a 21-day quarantine order for people traveling from or having transited through Congo or Uganda. Thailand says the country has not reported any Ebola-affected travelers, but there is risk from global population movement. Meanwhile, India's aviation watchdog, the DGCA, has also asked airlines to implement various measures as a part of the standard operating procedure. Airlines having direct or indirect connectivity with Uganda and Congo are required to make mandatory filing and collection of self-declaration forms prior to deboarding of passengers. In fact, in-flight as well as arrival protocols for suspected cases have also been specified by the DGCA, including that in such instances, the aircraft should be parked in a separate designated bay. Health authorities initially tested for the other strain, but later discovered the cause is a much rarer one, allowing the virus to spread undetected for weeks. The strain has no approved vaccine or treatments. To stay up to speed with the latest news,
This is the largest agricultural show in the Southern Hemisphere. It takes place annually in the Free State Province. But this year is different. Where farmers would normally view animals up for auction, stalls stand empty. That's due to an outbreak of foot and mouth disease, which has affected animals including cattle, sheep and pigs in all 9 provinces in South Africa.
Yeah, wait a minute. Pigs are infected by the foot and mouth disease? You know that's something serious when you got pigs getting sick. I don't know what, but that's some serious shit when you see and hearing about pigs getting sick from a disease. and them suckers are just riddled with parasites and all kinds of shit, and they're getting sick. Man.
An invisible enemy is impossible to fight.
Cattle farmer Johan Danhauser says a slow
Unless this is some shit to be able to thin the meat. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you don't supposed to eat pork, but when it comes to beef, you know, the elite of Esau, Edom, Amalek, they want to damn push lab-grown meat and get rid of the natural way of eating meat. And yeah, anyway.
state-run vaccination drive is to blame after vaccine imports from Botswana dried up in November last year.
The speed of the disease is the thing. You get there one day and they go downhill very quickly. I mean, within the space of 3 or 4 days, your cattle lose 20 to 50 kilograms of weight. They can't feed, they don't want to drink water, the calves can't suckle on their mothers, the mothers stop producing milk.
Consuming meat infected by foot and mouth disease does not affect humans, but humans can spread the disease. The Free State Agriculture says it has cost the industry the equivalent.
So now this can't affect humans, but humans can still spread it. Soon he's gonna be like, it can't affect humans? We'll make that happen. Yeah, they're gonna make some quick changes, some tweaks in the laboratory.
Of $108 million.
The government's reaction has been tragically slow. Everyone in the industry has been telling government that there's a crisis coming, but they ignored it until about October last year. They kept saying it's not a crisis. Vaccines have been coming in drips and drabs.
Farmers want restrictions on private vaccinations relaxed. While the government says its vaccine rollout has not been perfect, it says it has to be monitored centrally so that South Africa can regain its free from foot and mouth disease status. By the end of April, only about 2.5 million of 14 million animals have been vaccinated.
If people are procuring their own vaccines, you don't know whether they're administering them properly. You don't know whether...
Only about 2.5 million of 14 million animals have been vaccinated.
If people are procuring their own vaccines, you don't know whether they're administering them properly. You don't know whether they're administering booster shots. You don't know the quality of the vaccine that they're actually administering. There could be a flood of fake vaccines that find themselves in the market.
The government is now buying vaccines from countries like Argentina and Turkey.
Oh, shit.
To catch up. The agriculture minister says the government...
You be one of the private diseases in the vaccines. Anyway, just like people getting vaccinated, the problem is out of those vaccines. I mean, I don't know, man. I can tell we need the Lord, man, because whatever's going on, the world is all fucked up because... Why? The world is fucked up because it's ruled by wicked ass fucked up people with a fucked up vibration they putting out. Damn.
Aims to vaccinate 80% of the national herd by December. But until then, farmers are bearing the cost of a disease they say could have been better controlled if the government had acted more quickly.
Yeah, we got pestilence for people and pestilence for animals. Shit, it's about to get worse. The Lord about to jack some people and their animals up. See what this is going on. What's this about? What is it in China?
In the corner of a hallway, someone captured
Woo-wee.
a scene that would make your skin crawl. Walls completely covered with flying termites, stacked layer upon layer, looking like a black carpet glued to the wall. Guys,
termites? Did termites fly? I guess so.
Look at this. These insects are really scary. They're everywhere, all clumped together. Under the streetlights, the scene gets even more extreme. The dense swarm of flying insects falls like a heavy rain, forming a dark, suffocating mass that sends shivers down your spine.
Let me see something. Did termites fly? And termites are nocturnal. They in the dark. Can termites fly? Can termites fly? Oh my goodness. Can termites fly? Yes, okay. This certain termites can fly, however, flying is a limited and it's a group of swarmers. Yeah, them niggas can fly. I'm thinking those are I'm thinking those are carpenter ants. Or flying ants. Or whatever. Anyway, black flying termites.
Fine.
I'm
Some
always looking at them as flying ants. But whatever.
residents even had to open umbrellas under the lights to avoid the insects.
像铺了地毯。
It looks like a carpet. This is just terrifying. Recently, many residents in Guangdong have posted online saying that huge numbers of flying termites suddenly appeared in their homes. These so-called flying termites are actually the reproductive members of termite colonies, not ordinary ants. Normally, every year at this season, flying termites appear in groups, especially on hot, humid nights or right before and after rain. That's when they're more likely to fly indoors. So why are people in Guangdong so shocked this year? This year, the swarms appeared earlier and are more
The Lord plaguing these niggas, man. Plaguing Moab. Whatever town, city that is.
massive than usual. In previous years, large swarms didn't appear until early May, but this year the swarm started in early April, over 20 days ahead of schedule. And it's not just that they came early, there were far more of them, and they've stuck around longer. From April through late June, with mid to late May being the peak period.
I know that shit would drive people nuts. Woo! It be fuck your head up, bro. Seeing all them damn things and make you feel itchy all over.
Besides termites, many places have also seen swarms of flying moths recently. At night, they gather in groups under streetlights, in hallways, and along windows, covering walls and glass densely. In some areas, there have even been scenes where the ground is completely crawling with insects. Small bugs cover the floor, moving in dense, wriggling clusters, spreading from corners all the way to the roadside. In southern regions, various wild animals have also started showing up more frequently in people's lives. The creepiest of all are frogs and snakes. On May 19th in Liuzhou, Guangxi, just before dawn, the whole city was awoken by a dense chorus of frogs. It wasn't just one or two, or a few scattered sounds. It was a constant, overlapping symphony. Frogs croaked from under buildings, along the grass, and near drains. It sounded like a sudden nighttime choir had erupted. Some people noticed snakes creeping silently by their feet while they were eating. Others saw a giant python in their yard swallowing a hen whole.
God damn. Well, the Lord is just letting these damn, the creatures, boy, the beasts of the field come on out and play.
By their feet while they were eating. Others saw giant
Look at that motherfucker. He got a hold of something. He got a meal.
python in their yard swallowing a hen whole. Even scarier,
Tried to get a chicken.
some residents opened their shoe cabinets at home and found snakes hiding there, ones they had never seen before. On the morning of May 10th, in Yuyao, Zhejiang, a resident discovered a large snake inside the shoe cabinet. Zhao, the person who called the police, said he was about to leave for work when he opened the cabinet and saw the snake. He was so scared he didn't even close the cabinet door. He immediately called for help. Firefighters arrived and eventually found the snake in the corner outside the cabinet. It was confirmed to be a 1.5 meter long coluber flower snake, which is non-venomous. That same night, at Tingshui Village, another resident reported a snake coiled next to their bed. The whole family was so scared they ran outside. Firefighters caught the snake and released it safely.
You think them motherfuckers to eat it. Cook that son bitch and eat it. Shit, you know Moab will goddamn eat that stuff.
Earlier, on April 18th, a nearly 2-meter flower snake crawled into a car's engine, frightening the owner into abandoning the vehicle. Firefighters were eventually called in to remove the snake. In Chinese folklore, snakes appearing frequently isn't just animals moving around. Snakes are associated with yin energy and favor a dark, damp, hidden space.
Those are cobras, right?
Sudden activity of snakes, insects, or termites is seen as a sign that the underground moisture and heat are rising, that the earth energy is shifting, and that the yin, damp energy is too strong.
Oh man, the yin and the yang and all that shit. Well, man, yeah, there is some energy that's off balance, and that's coming from Esau. And a lot of the creatures are damn just don't know what the hell to do. But the Lord knows what to do. Use all those creatures to fucking fuck you people up. From you heathens and you 2/3 of Israel. Yeah, the Lord he know what to do with them creatures. Give y'all niggas hell. And this just the beginning. Teeth of wild beasts and bugs and whatever the hell, frogs, snakes, rats, slugs, snails, whatever. Shit.
Basically, the local energy is off. If a snake enters a home, traditional beliefs take it even further. Some say it's a warning to pay attention to safety, health, financial loss, or
Probably running the snakes out of their habitat. And they running them out of there because these niggas keep building shit all the time. Building bridges, houses, and all kinds of shit. Knocking, just destroying stuff in China.
conflicts. Others regard the snake as an earth dragon or a little dragon, not just an ordinary animal. Some and believe that killing it
Earth dragon. It's a fucking snake.
brings bad luck. So many people, when encountering
They got a cobra right up in that bitch.
a snake inside their home, try to safely remove it or release it into the wild rather than kill it. At the same time, unusual events have been appearing in many areas.
What's that sound? What's that sound? What's making that noise? Let's go, come on, let's go.
What's going on today? What's happening with these fish? They're all jumping out. Some people filmed local ponds, and the scenes looked extremely eerie. The water surface is packed with fish, one after another, constantly flipping and wriggling, as if every fish in the pond suddenly floated to the top. From a distance, the water looks completely dark. You can't count how many fish there are, and no one knows where they came from. On another night, under the lights, the pond looked even stranger. In the blue-green water, large schools of fish floated to the surface together, lined up one after another. In some karst caves in Guangxi, multiple sinkholes have appeared. Even stranger, the water in these holes is filled with fish that keep leaping and jumping, as if startled by something. In Guangxi,
the signs are alive, bruh. The Lord is showing you these signs. Hey, man, the fish, the animals, it's all kind of shit. Showing you we in the end times, bruh. It's getting crazy out here.
Dong's Shanwei area, unusual scenes were also reported. Huge numbers of fish kept jumping out of the water, some even leaping onto the shore. Calm waters suddenly seemed disturbed by some unseen force. In Chinese folk metaphysics, this kind of mass fish activity is often seen as a sign that water energy
It's a sign.
is churning and earth energy is unstable.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, all I can tell you, we in the end times. All this yin yang shit that Moab talking about, shit, it's all biblical.
When the fish become agitated en masse, it usually indicates that unseen changes have
The
occurred
Lord is visiting this place.
beneath the water. Earlier this year, in March, many places in China
Oh, I have to let this video keep playing.
also reported flocks of crows filling the sky. Huge numbers of crows circled above cities, forming dense black masses from rooftops down to the streets, from forests to residential areas. Many people said it didn't look like a normal bird migration, but more like a sign of something unusual. In Chinese folk belief, circling crows are often regarded as a symbol of unease or disturbance.
Well, in the Bible, I mean, we know it's an omen for death, mass death.
Crows are scavengers by nature, highly sensitive to the smell of decay.
Yeah, they gonna be down feasting on a lot of dead bodies. Maybe great death.
Wherever there's a
And what was it, a month ago or 2 months ago, they were flying, a bunch of crows flying over there. So I forgot what, Pink City, Tel Aviv, where they had them fag parades over in Israel. Shit, there was a bunch of crows flying over there. I guess they were getting ready for the feast off the faggots over there. Them baby dick sucking faggots over there. I don't know.
dead animal or a rotting scent, they're usually the first to appear, gathering in flocks, circling and pecking at the source. That's why in many
I guess it's gonna be a major feast on the Moab. Moab used to eat these damn things. Now them things are like, we getting ready to eat you, Moab.
folktales, crows are not seen as ordinary birds, but as birds of ill omen. Ancient people paid special attention to unusual behavior in birds and animals.
Yeah.
Birds are extremely sensitive to changes in weather, magnetic fields,
Man, I don't have a scripture on this. I know there is a scripture about it. I just don't have it.
water sources, food, and the environment. When crows suddenly gather in large numbers, folk belief interprets this as a sign of shifting earth energy or gathering yin energy.
Okay, anyway, yin yang, shut up. It's biblical.
Clouds around it seem alive, gently wrapping around it. On the night of May 20th, close to midnight, the sky over Liuzhou's Liujiang district suddenly turned an eerie red. Videos show the clouds glowing a dark red, the city beneath it cast in a heavy, unusual light. Under the sky, earthquakes have been hitting repeatedly. On the afternoon of May 20th, the city's Liunan district shook again. According to China's Earthquake Network Center, at around 4:23 p.m., a 3.7 magnitude earthquake struck Liunan district with a shallow depth of just 5 kilometers. Before that, on May 17th, Liunan district experienced 2 earthquakes in a single day. A 2.5 magnitude one in the morning and a 5.2 one near noon. The tremors were felt over a wider area, including Liuzhou, Laibing, Guigang, Nanning, Baici, Guilin, Hezhou, Hechi, and Wuzhou. What surprised many online was how shallow the epicenters are getting. One user said, 5 kilometers is really shallow. It was so loud I woke up. The shaking felt strong, way more than 3.8. Another added, an earthquake and rain at the same time.
Let me stop this because I think they're going to start talking about earthquake. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Let me go ahead and get... let me see. Let me go ahead and play this one.
在湖北荆山，短时雨量集中，多地出现严重积水，农作物成片倒伏，部分乡村道路被积水封堵，沿河及低洼地带。
强行的堵，然后从3楼挨家挨户的偏门，就是把它转移到高位置。
广水市昨天也遭遇强降雨，雨势迅猛，应山街道、陈巷镇等地部分低洼地带积水较深，有群众被困，消防人员紧急救援，极少人妇女转移护送至安全区域。昨天受上游持续强降雨影响，湖北省应城市境内面积进水，最高积水超漳河沿线水位快速攀升。
3点半开始调密的有水，一直到4点半就。
Lord playing them niggas. Hey, pray for the elect over there. I don't know about these other heathens. Fuck them niggas. Shit. Anyway, somebody's like, pray for China. Fuck you and fuck them, nigga. Them niggas that fucked us up, man. They shit. They make so much money off of you Israelites. They don't give a fuck about y'all. Shit. Anyway, and I don't give a fuck about them, but I do care for the elect. Let me see, Luke. I just don't want to play this no more because I don't want to hear all that. You know, I want to hear him speak English, but I had enough of seeing all the plays over there. Well, not enough. I mean, I had enough seeing all that flood water. That's what I meant to say because I've been talking a lot about this flood water over in China. I got tired of that shit. Yeah, the gooks that better learn how to swim. Shit. What is it? Where I'm at? Luke chapter 21, verse 10. Clearly, these are all signs from the Lord, man. The Lord visiting this place. Then said he unto them, nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. You got World War III, class wars, civil wars, race wars, all kind of wars going down. And great earthquakes shall there be in diverse places. And famines and pestilence and great signs shall there be. No, and fearful sights and great signs shall there be from heaven. These are signs from the Lord, signs from up above, or either from the fourth dimension. I want to say the other dimension, the fourth dimension. And soon, the Lord gonna come. Well, Yahweh Shah gonna come through that dimension and enter into the third dimension, which be here. And shit, it's a wrap. Let's get to the next video. See what this is about.
My friends, welcome. The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, or FAO, has just released a report indicating
this is about famine.
That we are headed into, as a result of the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, an agri-food shock, a crisis involving rapidly inflating food prices and limited availability. Now, just as in March, when the International Energy Association released a similar warning about the energy crisis, the most historic shock to supply of petrochemicals in history, and issued a series of policy recommendations which were then in lockstep implemented by countries around the world, so too has the FAO released a series of policy recommendations for countries to take to try and mitigate the effects of this food crisis. The recommendations for the IEA, though, were pretty easy to understand, right? Limited gasoline for cars, limited access to roads based on your license plate, working from home. It's pretty self-explanatory. The recommendations from the FAO, however, are a little more opaque, and so I want to take a look at the announcement and some of those policy recommendations, as well as then decode what they are actually saying in their euphemistic, altruistic-sounding language, because what is actually described is indeed the very announcement of the technocratic takeover of food production that we have been warning about for some
Yeah, all this is going to lead to the chip implant, ultimately. The mark of the beast.
Time now. So, let's have that conversation. I'm Christian, and you can find me at unshadowed.org. And here from Reuters, we read, the Hormuz closure could trigger agri-food shock and a price crisis within the year, according to the FAO. And a better report, though, comes here from World Grain, where they actually get into the policy recommendations. So we'll read here, time is running out to avoid food crisis from the Strait of Hormuz conflict. Urgent action is needed to avert a serious food crisis in the next 6 to 12 months due to the conflict in the Strait of Hormuz, according to the FAO. It is not a temporary shipping disruption, but rather the start of a systemic agri-food shock that could trigger a global food price crisis, according to the FAO. It's time to start thinking seriously about how to increase absorption capacity of countries, increase their resilience so that we can minimize the impacts of the crisis here. This involves, of course, intervention by governments, by international finance organizations, by the private sector, by even the UN and other research centers to try and help countries cope with this coming food crisis. However, the window for preventative action is closing quickly. Decisions taken now by farmers and by governments on fertilizer use, imports, whether or not to allow exports, financing, and crop choices are going to determine whether a severe global food price crisis emerges within the next 6 to 12 months. They observe that the prices have already been rising. As you know, if you've been following my Telegram channel at t.me/IceAgeFarmer, where I posted the report about April's prices rising month over month, the most significantly in recent history. So that's going to continue, they indicate. And then they also say that this is happening in stages, right? First, there's an energy crisis, the most immediate that the IEA also warned about. Then the fertilizer, then seeds, lower yields for the season and for next, certainly, and then commodity price increasing, and of course, resulting food inflation. They do indicate that there's other routes that we could explore. However, these routes have limited capacity, and that's why it's critical to avoid export restrictions by the major food producers. They also call out that because of the El Nino, which is expected to be strong this year and bring droughts and disruptive rainfall, that it's critical that we take steps immediately to mitigate this food crisis. And then they recommend the following policy recommendations. I won't go through the whole list here, but there are a few that are worth exploring and, as I said, decoding so that we can understand what's actually going on here. In the short term, they recommend that we avoid the export restrictions, especially on energy, fertilizer, and inputs, exempt food aid from trade curbs, promote emergency interventions like intercropping, which is actually the only good ideas on this list. That's where you put corn and beans together, like the Three Sisters method that Native American used, where you had corn, squash, and beans together. That's because this polyculture is very effective. You've got the beans and, like most legumes, fixing nitrogen, which feeds the corn. So these things work in concert together better than a field of one crop, which is very brittle and so forth. We've talked about this plenty over the years. That's interesting that they put that here. That's kind of their only bone that they throw out. Like, here's a good idea. Then it gets into the technocratic takeover. So let's continue. In the midterm, we want to avoid boosting biofuel demand during these shortages to limit food fuel competition. It's too late for that, as the IEA recommended, and most countries have already implemented subsidies for ethanol production, and they're moving forward the dates. So this is very much at odds with this new recommendation. Ensure that the energy policy responses do not exacerbate the food crises. And then, here we go. Expand affordable credit for farmers through institutions to provide credit lines to reach other value chain actors. Combine these ag loans with guaranteed offtake agreements from aggregators, processors, or buyers. Use digital farmer registries, mobile money systems, and integrate farmers into different forms of horizontal coordination, like farmer associations, groups, co-ops, etc., in order to improve access to finance. In the long term, they continue, we want to expand the use of electrified machinery, drone.
Alright, anyway, if you want to watch the rest of the video, be my guest, they go to title, they go to channel. It sounds like a bunch of problems, and a lot of it going to be affecting your food, if there's the staff of bread. Well, the RoboDog helps catch car break in. Oh shit. I'm going to go ahead and throw that in there. Let's get to the next one.
It's hard to put in perspective how important diesel is in producing food, so we're going to take a trip into the past, 1910 Asia, see how it is to grow food compared to today. Diesel prices running away. Our food is going to get incredibly expensive, so it is time to get prepared for these changes that are here, whether they're planned or whether they're organic. Now, many of you knew I was moving over to Taiwan, but you're thinking of Taipei, north. But in actuality, I'm down in the south, food growing region. I'm going to focus on rice today because it is so important to understand. Small farm holders, large farms, it all runs on diesel. And I am in this small agricultural area. Well, the entire southern part of Taiwan's agricultural. Now, it would be such a hypocrite if I moved into the middle of a city and said, hey, everybody get prepared and, know your local farmers, get your fingers in the ground, understand where the food comes from, be in the middle of that supply chain. It doesn't matter what nation you go to, you can get yourself in the middle of the supply chain. Taiwan, it's an island. Yeah, there's a huge population up north, but all down south, it's agriculture. So I would place myself in an agricultural area if you can. And the whole name of the game now is knowing where your food comes from, be the first in line for food, and get it at the cheapest price you can, because moving forward, everything's going to start it's going to be...
Man, your best bet is getting right with Yahweh Shema Rashad. He gonna provide food for you if you are of his people. But make sure you build a spiritual mental relationship with Yahweh Shema Rashad. I can't say guarantee you the Lord's gonna look out for you, but you want to pray like heaven Lord does. Shoot. Because you ain't gonna be able to say, hell, tomorrow I'm getting closer to some foods. Well, what if your ass get snatched up away from that shit and thrown inside of a prison camp or some shit? Then you ain't gonna be near no damn rice field or whatever that's producing food. No. Anyway,
beyond believable the way the food prices are going to move in the future shortly from now. Let's take a look at the U.S. diesel price. Consumer sentiment, how happy, how confident people are, economy will be better tomorrow. Unimportant at the moment. Diesel price $5.61. It went, from $3.50 to well over $5.50 in just a couple of months. This is unprecedented in terms of the shock. So the point of the video is taking you back in time so you can see how difficult it was to produce food and how easy it is now with machines and diesel. If we lose part of the diesel, we lose the machines. If we lose the machines, we're winding the clock back. So let's take a look. We're going to jump into Japan, circa 1910. Now, if you're going to do it by hand, you're going to have to use this scythe. Beware, you're going to cut yourself if you're a first timer. It takes a full day to do just what you can see, that rice going in the back there. Just an acre, maybe a little more. This is so time consuming. You have to think about entire villages would step out to do this at a time. But forward to modern day, I found the machine on the side of the road. I saw they were harvesting our area here, so I found the machine and just followed it up. Took a walk over there. Look how fast this is.
And look how quick. Yeah, that shit is just real fast.
Can you imagine what they were doing in 1910, the productivity gains, comparatively to what we have now with machinery? Yeah, the birds do get a few extra, grains of rice, but back then the losses were up somewhere 10% on the hand harvesting, because as you harvested by hand, grains would fall off. Very inefficient. You were getting losses from the field just on doing that initial cutting process before you even did anything else in the entire step. So I know a few of you are a fan of the egrets in the background, me too, but the efficiency is unbeatable. And when I say that, if we lose our diesel or lose our machines or the machines slow down because of lack of diesel or it gets so expensive,
they're gonna have to resort to doing this shit the old-fashioned way. And a lot of people probably don't know how to do it the old-fashioned way.
Our food production globally is going to get knocked back so far that our civilization is actually going to fracture at that point from lack of food. And in the old days, after you
gotta comb this stuff out,
cut it, as you saw in the field, then you would have to separate the grains of rice from the plant, and they put it in this tooth-combed type of thing. You can see how many grains there are. It's very, seedy for a better term. And you have to pull it through and separate that. But again, there was a lot of loss. There was still some grains left on the grass that people will go to. Now, not so much. With the machine, it cleans literally 100%. And how the extra grass is kicked back, and you can use that for an enormous amount of things, either the animal feed or you can leave it in the field for next year to turn it under. But I wanted to go into the teeth and the mechanism for this grain separation here. Again, if we're going to try to do anything by hand in our world, very few people know how to do it, but the gains of efficiency are literally 100x using machinery. I mean, you're talking about 10 people for an entire day doing what this machine did in 15 to 20 minutes.
Here's what your financial...
And that's it. Shit, I ain't gonna play no more. Hold on, let me see what else they got. Yeah, he's still talking about the machine. Hold on, let me see what this is about.
Unless you put it into this kind of context where you can see it on the ground, it is staggering. UK, who's going to get smacked harder? $1.47 a liter. Now remember, we're doing gallons, so let's round up 4. We'll say 4 liters is a gallon. I know it's not exact, but it's easy math. If we go over per liter into the UK, that's a £1.86, but in the exchange rate brings that up to $2.50 a liter. That's $10 a gallon almost in US equivalent. Think about that for a second. How do you run farm machinery on something that costs double the input going over into Europe? So Europe's going to face the food shortages first, just because of costs going into it, and fertilizers as well. Then we jump down to Australia here. This is petrol cents per liter. And again, the Australian dollar, depending on the exchange rate, or you're going against the pound or the dollar, but anyway, it is less than a US dollar. But still, location, you're up in Sydney. On the 18th, it went up to $2.05 or $2.05. 1 day later, it's at $2.07. May 20th, 3 days later, it's at $2.09. Thursday, the 21st, at $2.11. Friday, it's at $2.11.9. See, it went up from $2.11.4 to $2.11.9. They got to slow it down. People are noticing the
shit getting expensive, and it's gonna affect the food and everything else. Let's get to this. What is this video about?
Zaxby's giant chicken finger wraps are no snack.
Oh yeah, listen, I said that doing. I'm looking at the scripture. I ain't even got to it. Ezekiel chapter 5 verse 16. When I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which shall be for their destruction, and which I will send to destroy you, and will increase the famine upon you, and will break your staff of bread. The staff of bread is how the food is being produced, has been grown. And hell, the machines they use to get that rice is one of the good examples. And shoot, how to break the staff of that, or the food supply, well, we get the diesel. Without the diesel, that machine won't be running. And I don't know if anybody know how to pick rice now these days. They probably do. They still got some people doing it, but I bet you they don't want to do it. And the people that know how to do it, they're probably too old to do it. But anyway, still the staff of bread is going to be broken. Yep, from every other kind of way, from packaging food and growing, raising, whatever. The Lord is breaking it down. Better seek Yahweh Shema Shaka. That's your only way for salvation, protection. Lord willing, He provided for you. Let's get to this video. Damn, $7.49 for diesel and gas. Ooh, we California. There was a New Scum. New Scum tells Californians to avoid Chevron due to high gas prices. Okay, well, I guess people go to the other gas station, Amoco, and they're gonna be the same price. Well, what about BP? That BP's Amoco, the same price. Quick Trip, same price. Railroad, same price. Who else? Racetrack, same price. But shit, just only Chevron. And the New Scum trying to give you a pointers that don't go to Chevron. They charging too much. Get the fuck out of here. Now let's see what the comments say. Why don't you show us the governor telling us that you telling the reasoning? It hurts. Fuck Chevron. I used to work for them. For them? Damn, y'all people need to learn how to type, man. They're racist. Quitting was the best decision I made. What the fuck that has to do with the gas prices, Chevron? I don't know. He worked for Chevron. Shit, I'm like, whatever. Says California politicians are choosing foreign oil and fuel over local jobs and lower costs. Huh. I mean, shit. Yeah. Bitches get like $10 a gallon. There won't be enough numbers to be put, type into the machine. Yeah, you won't even see that 10 on that bitch. They'll still charge you 10. I don't know how they'll do it, but shit, even if they able to do it, people ain't buying that shit. People gonna say the hell with this shit. Fuck it all. People gonna have to say fuck it and fuck it all. Eventually they will. Next video.
The latest attack from Burt Jones, total garbage. I supported Brian Kemp.
I mean, in theory, there's 374 million barrels left in. There's 4 major SPR salt caverns, and 2 of them have what's called medium sour in it. 2 of them have light crude in it. And this is the thing: it's a salt cavern. So what you do is you pump all this oil in, and the cavern gets full. But you don't just suck it out and leave an air gap. They push water down the bottom, and it pushes the oil up as it floats. Problem: salt is dissolvable in water. So the more you do that, you start running into problems where you're actually collapsing, and the salt caverns being basically eroded away. It's just turning into a solution. So there's nobody knows for sure, but the last time I saw an analysis said that effective minimum, like you can't take more than X out of these caverns. You can't go to 0 before you've irreparably damaged them. So we don't have 374 million barrels in there. We have something less than that. Best guess I have is maybe half that. At the current rate we're taking it down, we got 50, 60 days to figure this out. And Iran knows that perfectly well.
Holy crap. But what?
So, 2 more months. You're going to start seeing some drastic changes and effects and such. I hope so, man. I'm tired of this fucking shit.
What about the whole narrative that the US is selling oil now and even China's buying American oil?
I would guess probably by next month you'll start seeing some things popping off, or things getting more expensive and such. Ah man, I didn't even know I had a. You know how you got the keyboard on your computer, the little kickstand, the little peg things, the kickstand peg things, trying to raise that shit up.
Always under the impression that US doesn't have enough oil to export. But why would these announcements be made?
So our baseline is this. Right before the Iran war started, and so for every month, I'll take the last 6 months of data leading up to that, right? So October, November, December, January, and early through February. So if you look at that, the United States was importing about 6.6 million barrels a day and exporting about 4 million barrels a day of oil. Now, why is that? Well, we export because we have all this shale oil. It's very light. It's our refineries aren't tuned for it. It doesn't give us the downstream products we need. So we export that. But we import the stuff we do need, which is the heavier stuff. We get stuff like that from Venezuela, from Canada, from the Middle East, from wherever we can source it. And so before the war started, we were a net importer of oil. Now, since then, in the last few weeks, we have been a net exporter, but that's only because, Mario, we're going into our principal balance in our bank account. We're going into the trust fund seed money, and we're actually selling oil that we had put in inventory on reserve to other countries. So I think 7 million barrels 2 weeks ago went to various Asian countries, Pakistan, India, here and there. China's, I think, got their hands on some. Of course, we're helping out South Korea and Japan as much as we can. But make no mistake, what we're doing is we're selling Americans strategic oil in reserve to other countries to try and keep the price tamped down as we sort through the negotiation process.
Like we're doing the US is doing the complete opposite of what China's doing. China's trying to stock up on those reserves and barely using them. I don't know if they've even shared. There's been reports that they're going to open up some exports to help neighboring countries that strategically makes sense. I think it was the Philippines or something. But that was it. And they're hoarding that oil, knowing that this could last for a longer period of time. And France is saying, actually, there was a report they put out today, the last couple of hours, that France is expecting the blockade to go on for much longer than other countries expect. So what China's doing is the complete opposite of what the US is doing, which is sacrificing long-term strategic leverage or even survival for short-term benefits. And this whole war is that. There's actually a report.
All right, I'm going to get to the next one. If you want to watch the rest of it, be my guest. They go to title, they go to channel. Shit.
Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media here, and we're joined once again by Clayton Llewellyn over at Heaven's Harvest, and we have a lot to talk about today, especially with everything that's happening in the world with the Strait of Hormuz. There's issues at the Panama Canal. There are already pre-existing issues when it comes to shortages among farmers, 73-year cattle head shortages as of last year, and of course this is continuing into 2026, and there's no signs of it relaxing anytime soon. Of course, there are engine oil shortages, there are fertilizer shortages which dramatically affect farmers, and we're already seeing farmers, close up shop in a lot of places because they say, hey, we just don't have money to keep this operation running anymore. Fuel is expensive. And obviously this comes to a very, very dangerous precipice if people are not prepared in the right ways. So before we get into any of this, I urge people to check out heavensharvest.com/WHAM. You could use that, and you could use code WHAM, W-A-M, and get 25% off on most of the products over at the site. But I also want to mention that this is the lucky that or the massive shortage issue that we find there is something happening in the news that is severely restricting the supply chain worldwide, and this is one of the things that makes what you guys do so important. Of course, we're going to go into what you guys do shortly, but I wanted to hear your thoughts on, with the Strait of Hormuz closure, with battles over the Panama Canal, with shortages among farmers. You have it on the left and the right, people on the left pushing, climate policies, people on the right, in many cases, pushing war policies, which also affect this dramatically. I wanted to hear your thoughts on the massive shortage issue and the crisis that we're seeing worldwide right now.
Man, Josh, it doesn't feel like this ever ends. You know what I mean? Like you said, it feels like every time we talk, there's something going on in the world. And it's kind of one of the, we don't want to be the little boy who cried wolf, but it's like we keep getting closer and closer and closer to catastrophe. Like it's, we did this a couple years ago. Food prices went through the roof with fertilizer shortages and the diesel fuel. And it's like, here we are again. But now on top of that, you're seeing record droughts, like not just in the Northeast or the Southeast or out West, like it's record droughts all over the world. Mm-hmm. Like some climate guys now calling this like a super El Nino, which we haven't seen since the 1800s, I believe, like 1877. And last time that happened, 50 million people died. Yeah. it's every time you turn around, we're right back in the same thing. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be surprised if we're not in Cuba before too long. You know, it's policies in California. I mean, you got high fuel prices to begin with, and you got policies in California. Those guys are paying like $7.50 a gallon for fuel.
Oh, I know. Well, and Clayton, something I'm thinking about is, you know, I've seen some claims across the board where people are talking about, some farmers talking about their prices, their costs going up like 70% in 1 year, which is absolutely insane to think of. And I can't even imagine how that's going to affect inflation. But that's going to affect a lot of farmers where they're going to say, hey, I just can't do this anymore.
Josh, these guys aren't billionaires by any means. I mean, they're planning season to season. A lot of these guys are carrying debt season to season. You know, I'm sure everybody sees it right now. You know, we had to move barrels here the other day, and I went to buy a Dolly barrel, thinking, you know, this isn't much different than a Dolly. Like, I'm going to pay, you know, $200-300 for it. They were $1,600 and $1,700 for a Dolly, and it's kind of like, this is insane. Like, put that into perspective of a farmer. These guys are breaking equipment all the time. This isn't buy it once and it's done. You know what I mean? So their plows that used to be 30 or 40 grand are now 70, 80, 90 grand. You know, their fertilizers through the roof. You know, it's oil right now. A lot of people don't realize, like, this, most of our vegetables, I mean, you drive across the Midwest, you see the corn that's planted in rows, you see the wheat planted in rows. Well, tomatoes, cucumbers, like a lot of those vegetables, like, they're planted with plastic. They've got drip lines in them. They've got plastic over top of them. All of that is being affected by fuel prices right now. So, I mean, it's a double-edged sword, and it's killing these guys.
Well, and I know potatoes is a big issue as well. I can't remember the exact number I saw, but I've seen some increase in prices that were so over the top they sounded exaggerated. And I looked into it, and in places like Europe, the potato, the prices of say a pound of potatoes is up like 400% in a very short period of time. That should concern a lot of people. And you know, I'm sure with what you guys do, and we'll get into that in a moment over at Heaven's Harvest. But you know, when it comes to getting supplies that you guys need just to make these storable food cases so that people can actually stock up for the inevitable, which again, you know, it's not like back in the day when someone was growing cabbage and some rot or some maggots destroyed a patch. That obviously was tragic for the farmer himself, but you could always go somewhere else to get something and there'd always be a market. This is across the board. And basically everywhere in the world we're looking at, for the most part, is being dramatically affected by this. Some of the places that are coming out of this, I think the best are actually Russia. But when we're talking about trade with
Anyway, if you want to watch the rest of it, they go to title, they go to channel. I'm just playing some of these videos, skimming through, and I ain't gonna go through all of it, but it's talking about bad news. I'm telling you, hey, these signs, the stuff they're saying is letting you know that it's becoming reality. Shit. And we've been telling you this, the prophecy, how about Shema Shah, starting with GMS and other camps, speaking the same truth doctrine. We've been addressing this to you Israelites, man, constantly. And hey, here we are. 2 Ezra chapter 16, verse 37. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack, as when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son with 2 or 3 hours of birth. Her great pains compares her womb, which pains. When the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth. And the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. So it's going to be worldwide, north, south, east, and west. And what you going to do when this shit go down? You better be seeking the Lord, because that's the only way. It ain't going to be a perfect, it's not this journey, and then, you know, the journey of build, or trying to build a spiritual mental relationship with Yahweh Shema Shah is not going to be easy, but you're trying your best to do the best you can. You know, 2 Ezra chapter 16 verse 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in them days? Ezra's in the past getting those visions from the Yahweh Shema Shah, showing him what the future gonna be like, because he gonna be living the future. Why you think he's saying who's gonna deliver me in them days? Yeah, reincarnation is real. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death. All the people gonna be killing themselves for resources, bro. Yeah, if it's not the famine, pestilence, war, the beginning of wars, World War III, class wars, race wars, civil wars, and World War III. Hell, people gonna be fighting for the resources. Nations fighting for resources. See who's the best and who's gonna get the resources or get to rule the world. But shit, nobody in these damn heathens ain't gonna rule the world. Only Israel, starting with Yahweh Shah, King David, 144,000 gonna rule the world when Yahweh Shah return with the great power of Yahweh. They gonna rule the world. But before that, They're going to be beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. The wicked league going to be hiding out in bunkers. And the beginning of evils, ill times. What shall I do when these evils come? Seek the Lord and repent. Do the best you can do. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent for scourges for amendment. But for all these things they shall not turn for their wickedness, nor be mindful of their scourges. So, for them Israelites who ain't taking heed, guess what? Get destroyed. Come on now. Oh, come on, this shit taking forever.
For nearly 50 years, Harbor Freight has been a reliable source for the widest variety.
So there may be a lot of shortages happening in the next couple of months. A lot of people believe this and are warning others about it because of what is taking place globally. Look at some of these arguments being made right now and let me know what you think.
All right, now we are in at Naja's High Sierra Desert Oasis, and these are the gas prices here. No joke.
I think this year.
Hold on. Go back. Did I see 9? Woo, woo. No, man. Regular. What? This ain't regular like 9. Oh, it's 87. 87? Really? No, bruh. I see a. No, bruh. Where is this at? Let me check.
All right, now we are in at Naja's High Sierra.
It's kind of weird. This should be over on that side, and this should be before the middle grade. I guess it's reversed, but then if it's reversed, the letters should be reversed too. I don't know what kind of gas pump this is. They must have fucked it up. That's probably what happened.
Desert Oasis, and these are the gas prices here.
Yeah, this one's supposed to be at the end. That shit is $9,999. Shit. Nah, man, hold on, wait, man. How the hell?
All right, now we are in.
How the hell that's $9.79? Usually when you at a gas station, okay, let's say it's $4 for 87, and then 85 is like damn near 70 cents more, and then the premium gonna cost about $1 extra, or no, make it $1.50 extra, but not 10 cents. Let me see.
In at Naja's High Sierra Desert Oasis.
See, not that like that. It used to be a time where gas prices used to be like this. From the 80s to the 90s, it always 10 cents difference. And even before the 80s, it was always a 10 cent difference. But now these days, it's like a 50 cents or maybe $1 difference. Each grade you get up higher is $1 more. Shit. Now this is 10 cents. No, I don't know if this is real or not.
These are the gas prices here.
What? Expect gas prices to be up that high soon to come. I don't even know what. Hold on. I don't know if she said where this is at. I didn't even pay no attention. I've been running my mouth.
These arguments being made right now, and let me know what you think.
All right, now we are in at Naja's High Sierra.
Okay, it's a Sierra Desert Oasis. I don't know where the hell that at. Let me see. Sierra Desert Oasis. Where is Sierra Desert Oasis? What the hell? Route 66. They gotta like be like in the Midwest. Not the Midwest, but the what's that shit? The southern. Well, I forgot what they call it. The southern western area. I don't know. Yeah, it's like the Coachella Valley, California. I don't know. Anyway.
Desert Oasis, and these are the gas prices here. No joke.
I think this year, this summer, 2026.
Yeah, that's California then. Yeah, no joke.
6 is going to be a repeat of 2020. In my personal opinion,
no, it is, but it's going to be way worse than that. It's going to be way worse than that. Ain't no turning back. No going back to normal.
that I keep seeing and hearing from food vendors, purveyors who are my friends. I've, owned a restaurant for 10 years, a food truck, one of the best in the country. I'm a very high-end, very highly respected chef, so I have a lot of contacts in the business who I keep in touch with, and we have been discussing how the price of goods, toilet paper, milk, toothpaste, shampoo, paper goods, everything is about to skyrocket. I'm talking double, triple prices in a matter of a couple of weeks. Now, supposedly only the higher ups are talking about this stuff right now. They're kind of keeping it hush-hush in their companies. Now, things get leaked all the time. Hearsay, blah, blah, so on and so forth. I'm a very big believer on doing your own research, but I also, have a lot more time, personal time than a lot of people because I'm waiting to have another surgery, and so I'm currently not working. I'm working, but I'm not physically working out. I'm working from home. So, guys, buckle up. I think that the month of May and June is going to be the beginning.
May is about almost over with. We got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of May. But June ain't no microchip. That shit is on the way. And let's see how June ain't no microchip gonna be.
Of hell on earth for America.
Man, but shit, what about the rest of the world?
Now, am I scared?
Players gonna be on the north, south, east, west, gonna be all over the world. And America too.
Scared?
You fucking proud ass people.
We got through 2020, didn't we? We're still alive. I'm just sick and tired of having to live life on the edge of bankruptcy. And
don't worry, bro, because you're gonna the time gonna come for, I don't know about him, but for us believers, we're gonna have to settle with losing everything, because it's coming down to that point where, hey man, all roads lead to that chip implant. That's what Esau ultimately wants. He's creating these scenarios, making it hellish on you people worldwide, even in America, making it hellish condition where you can't hardly eat, can't afford shit, can't do this, can't do that, blah 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 blah. That's ultimately coming down to that chip implant, the mark of the beast. So groin up your loins and get ready. Get your goddamn 5-point racing seatbelt ready and fastened, because it's gonna be a bumpy freaking ride, bro. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a bumpy ride.
Not knowing how to pay bills and all this shit, just like all of us. So
I'm not worried about that shit. Paying no bills.
This isn't to fearmonger anybody. Let me make myself clear. This is just to...
And see, it's funny, the prophets are telling you this stuff, you won't take heed, but then you got regular folks that's not even in the truth. They saying these things. And they're not getting it in the Bible, but they saying these things. They see that something ain't right, but not a lot of people. Some people seeing it, but they just in denial, and they don't want to accept it. They gonna have to take it one way or another.
Aware, keep you guys informed of my opinion and my beliefs, and from what I've been hearing from my sources and my contacts. Supposedly gas prices are supposed to go up quite a bit this month, in the month of May. So I don't see many people traveling for summer vacation. Sorry, it's super bright out today. I mean, look at the sky. It's beautiful out. So do your own research, stay informed, because I truly believe that they're trying to throw a blanket over our faces and distract us with all the other things that they're crazy, stupid things that they're doing to keep our mind off of the real truth. The reality of America is that we're in a recession. I believe we're in a silent recession right now.
What? All these different type of recessions. Nigga, this is a depression, and actually this bitch is collapsing, and it ain't getting back up. It ain't being able to get healed. It's gonna get killed. Babylon is fucking through. And you gonna be too. If you wanna stay trying to save this place, you gonna be through with Babylon if you wanna try to save this monkey ass place. This place is shit.
So the last one I pulled out, we still have most of that in cash, just set aside in like a lockbox in our home, just because, I if you're paying any attention to the economy and stock market and shit, it's going to crater in historic fashion sometime, and it's going to be soon, whether it's months from now or if they manage to prop it up a little longer. But anyways, that's to say, the money for Costco is I was thinking I was just going to use some of that, but now that I'm thinking about it a little further, I think I might just put it on a credit card, because it's probably going to be better to have cash on hand as we get further into this nightmare. As things get more dire, it's we might get to a point where it's cash and carry only for stuff. I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying not to freak out, but I'm a little freaked out. I don't know how much attention anybody's been paying to the war on Iran and what the Strait of Hormuz being closed has to do with global trade, not just oil, but supply chains in general, and how everything is already for a lot of countries around the world. We're going to start seeing and feeling the effects of it here in the United States. And just a quick example, if you want to know how this could impact you. I actually have a BJ's, the big box club near me, and I went there to stock up on a couple things. One of the things that we like there was their brand cocoa, like cocoa powder for baking and shit. So I just stopped by there a few minutes ago. They don't even have a spot on the shelf for it anymore. So I don't know if that's just because for some reason they decided they don't want to carry a pantry staple like that, or if it's because this shortages are already affecting things like that. That's something that you guys can get used to for the foreseeable future. More and more things that we take for granted are going to become scarcer and much.
Yeah. Hey, getting the truth. You hearing the prophets, but these niggas, you got these niggas out here talking shit about the prophets, talking shit about Yahweh Shema Shah, and that's deadly, man. And these niggas are Israelites. They heard from the prophets of Yahweh Shema Shah, and they grew to become prophets, and now they see the money is involved. Now they want to talk shit. And I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Let me back up. It's something he said had me triggered saying what I'm saying. Now I lost my train of thought. I hate when that happens. Why we need new bodies, man? My brain going to shit.
I just stopped by there a few minutes ago. They don't even have a spot on the shelf for it anymore. So I don't know if that's just because for some reason they decided they don't want to carry a pantry staple like that, or if it's because this shortages are already affecting things like that. That's something that you guys can get used to for the foreseeable future. More and more things that we take for granted are going to become scarcer.
Yeah, taking it granted, and you don't take it serious and all, it's going to be gone. Just like this truth, the word from Yahweh Shema Shah coming from his prophets. You don't take heed, and guess what? Ain't no need. The Lord ain't gonna take need for your ass to save. Anyway, let me see. I ain't gonna play no more of this. If you want to watch the rest of this chick video, a homestead journey, be my guest. They go to the title of the video. They go to her channel. Let's get to the last one. What is this? The Hopeful Late 3. Oh yeah, it's gonna get bad out here. Now, I'm guessing because the thumbnail showing like people at a grocery store, and they talking about there's no, and it says coming to a grocery store near you. That's the title of the video, and the thumbnail is showing you a cartoonish drawing of people. I was surprised that the storehouse has suddenly been found empty. And I already jumped on this scripture earlier, but I don't know if he's gonna read it. But let's see. I mean, not read it. I don't know if he's gonna type it up when the video comes, or he's gonna show it when the video plays. It probably is.
At 6:14 on a Tuesday evening, the shelves were full. Cold drinks, fresh bread, perfect rows of foods.
Yep, he most certainly is. 2 Ezra chapter 6, verse 22. And suddenly shall that sown place appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. No food in that bitch.
Stretching aisle after aisle. And because most Americans see that every single day, they assume it's permanent. That's the illusion. Most people have no idea how fragile the systems around them actually are. The average grocery store only has enough food to last a few days once the deliveries stop. That's it. A few days between normal life and completely empty shelves. And history proves this over and over again. Storms, riots, supply chain failures, pandemics. It takes almost nothing to disrupt comfort. But modern society has made people emotionally dependent on convenience. Food just appears, power works, the water runs, packages arrive. So people stop asking the dangerous questions like, what happens if it doesn't? Preparedness forces people to confront uncomfortable reality, and most people would rather avoid that conversation entirely, because deep down they believe someone else is going to solve the problem. Maybe it's the government, fat chance. Maybe it's the store, maybe it's technology, some invisible system they've trusted their entire life. But systems fail. Every civilization in history thought normal life would continue too. Everybody thought that, until it didn't. And that's the scary part. Not that collapse is guaranteed, because it's not. But that so many people couldn't imagine it happening at all.
It ain't gonna happen. And who's gonna make it happen? Yahweh Shema Shah. So the best thing you need to do, seek the Lord by seeking His prophets and take heed of what to say and try to build a spiritual mental relationship with Yahweh Shema Shah by praying Yahweh Shema Shah, praising Yahweh Shema Shah, worshiping Yahweh Shema Shah, fearing Yahweh Shema Shah, repenting of Yahweh Shema Shah. To all the men out there pushing this truth and none but the truth in the name, spirit, and the power of Yahweh Shema Shah. Keep on preaching, keep on teaching, keep your faith and trust strong. Yahweh Shema Shah, stay humble. And for you few sisters out there taking heed, keep your faith and trust strong. Yahweh Shema Shah, stay humble, stay in order with your man. If you ain't got no man, stay in order. Yahweh Shema Shah, peace and bless to the whole full lake and all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Shalom.